Welcome to Pale Blue Pod, the astronomy podcast for people who are overwhelmed by the universe but want to be its friend.
Hello, that is us and me. I'm Dr. Moiya McTier. I'm an astrophysicist, a folklorist, and a good friend to the universe.
You are.
The universe has been in my thoughts a lot lately, especially with all the talk of the ocean and the deep, dark ocean that's been going on. And I'm like, space, the universe, now is your time. You know, people are finally recognizing that there are things scarier than you.
That is so true. That has been what it's felt like. Okay, I'm Corinne Caputo, writer, funny person, also deeply afraid of the sea, and now less so afraid of the universe.
Yay!
It got me on board.
Maybe in a like a decade or something, you'll do a podcast that's like pale blue oceans.
Yes. Wait, Misha had a funny pitch for this.
Oh, yeah, they
somewhere
did.
in the Slack. I don't remember what it was, but I laughed.
One day, Misha. Corinne can get the PhD this time.
I'm just like scared the whole time I'm in school.
But speaking of seas, where are we?
Okay,
Corinne?
we are right on the water, I'm pretty sure. We are at the Sydney Opera House in Australia, down under, which is exactly how they say it.
I thought you were Australian for a second.
Shocked you. I'm thrilled that we're here because we're going to be talking about constellations in the Southern Hemisphere. Yeah,
that was the least excited you could have sounded about that.
That is.
But yes.
I wanted to get it right. I was more nervous about getting it right than I was about being excited.
But we are excited. We have been wanting to do a constellations episode for a long time, and it has morphed formats, but we kept putting it off and off because it's a big topic.
Yes.
And we wanted to do it justice. But we are doing our first two-parter episode, where the first part, this one, is going to be about constellations in the Southern Hemisphere, or the Southern Celestial Sphere. And then next week's episode, the second part, will be about stuff in the Northern Hemisphere. So we're talking about stars and cool stuff.
I'm thrilled to do a sequel. It makes it feel like the Marvel Universe. There's companion episodes. You need to know some to know others. We're going to get that complicated.
It also feels very put together to do like a two-parter and to do a sequel. Like, yeah, everyone, we've got our shit together.
We'll let you be the judge.
Sometimes. Yeah, thanks. So before we get into talking about the specific constellations in the Southern Hemisphere, I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about constellations in general, just some a few facts and figures that you might find useful. First of all, Corinne, do you know how many stars are visible in the night sky? Like how many you could go out and see without binoculars or a telescope?
Oh, God.
Or a rough idea.
I don't know. Sometimes you look up and you see like what feels like thousands, and then sometimes you see 3. So really depends on where you are.
It's true. Yeah. Here in New York City last night, I went out and I could see 5.
Okay.
I saw Arcturus, which we are not going to be talking about until next week because it's in the Northern Hemisphere. But yeah, you're right. It's thousands. We can see about 5,000 stars across the entire globe without the help of some device like a telescope or binoculars. And for thousands of years, different cultures around the world have looked at those stars, those visible stars, and grouped them together in asterisms or constellations, and they would tell stories about them that would get passed on from generation to generation. But that really is just a tiny fraction of the number of stars that are really there.
Yeah.
There are hundreds of billions of stars in the Milky Way alone, but most of them are too far away or too dim for us to see. We've talked about this in previous episodes. The most common type of star is a type of star that we can't see any of. Corinne, do you remember what type of star that is?
I'm trying to remember. I don't.
Do you remember what color it is?
Red?
red. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. So like 75% of the stars are these red dwarfs, and we can't see any of them with our naked eye. So that's it's just a tiny fraction.
Moiya, a completely random question has popped into my brain, and if you don't know the answer, we can cut this. But can a nocturnal animal like see more stars than humans?
That's a great question. Yeah. There are animals that have different sensitivities in their eyes, or they're sensitive to different types of wavelengths, but some animals can see different stuff in the sky than we can.
Whoa.
I did this one homework problem in college where we were figuring out what is the most distant star that a human could see, and that's based on the luminosity or the brightness of the star. So essentially, how many photons is this star sending out every second? And there's like a threshold of the number of photons your eye has to receive before it's like, oh yes, I see something. And different animals would have like a lower threshold where we would need to see like 10 photons per millisecond to see something. They might only need to see a couple.
That's so cool. That's so funny that I really imagine myself as like this king of the world where like everything is experiencing the sky the way I am. So that's very humbling and very cool that they might see better.
Yeah, absolutely. You bring up an excellent point. I'm glad that random question popped into your head, because I often talk about space as this universal thing, literally universal thing. It's the only universal thing that everyone experiences. And I talk about my knowledge of space giving me a great connection to everyone else on the planet. But it is only humans who see space in this way. Like your cat sees something different. Dogs, like all animals will see something different. Some fish don't even know the sky exists.
Oh my God, that's so true. Maybe for the best.
Probably. All right. So I have been talking about the stars. I've been talking about these stellar constellations or asterisms, the shapes that people make by connecting the bright points of light in the sky. But there have been plenty of cultures around the world who talk about dark constellations in their folklore. And these dark constellations aren't made by connecting the stellar dots. They're made by looking at the big voids, like the big, essentially clouds of dust that are between us and some other bright objects. And it's interesting, when you study all of the cultures that have dark constellations, most of them are in the southern hemisphere. And I'll link to a paper that compares the different dark constellations across the world in the research notes for this episode if you join our Patreon. But most of them are in the southern hemisphere. So there's the Inca in Chile, the Tswana, Zulu, and other groups in southern Africa, the Tonga and Maori and other groups around Australia in like the southern Pacific. And I think the reason that you see that clump of dark constellations in the southern hemisphere is because they have a better view of the entire Milky Way with its dusty voids and those big gas clouds that like block our light. And that is because our solar system, our sun, is ever so slightly above the galactic midplane. So we are above, and the southern hemisphere can more easily look down at the rest of the Milky Way.
Cool.
Yeah.
The galactic midplane. Have never heard that before. Sounds very sci-fi. I love it.
It is very sci-fi because the Milky Way is not perfectly flat, although we talk about it as a two-dimensional disk a lot of the times, but it does have some thickness. And our solar system is kind of in the middle, but not exactly in the middle. And so the southern hemisphere gets a better view.
Lucky.
I cannot do this episode without talking about one of my biggest casual pet peeves in conversation is
Tell me the gossip.
I often get annoyed when people conflate asterisms and constellations.
Okay.
An asterism is that shape. It's the connect the dot shape that a lot of people think of when they think of a constellation. It's the shape of Orion, the hunter that I have tattooed on my body. It is the shape of the Big Dipper that looks like a ladle. That's an asterism. In modern times, constellations are regions of the sky. They are sections of the sky that one big, like, formal body has decided are how we're going to split up the night sky. That formal body is the International Astronomical Union, the IAU. And we've talked about them before, but they're going to come up a lot in these episodes on the constellations because they decided what the constellations were. So I'm going to be very careful about distinguishing asterisms from constellations, but historically, there has not been much of a distinction because the official constellations, these regions, were only decided in the last century.
Okay.
So the IAU was founded in 1919. They had their first General Assembly meeting in Rome in 1922. It took them a few years to organize. And at that meeting, the IAU's Commission on Notations and Units, so like this little subgroup within the IAU, they were given control over notations and units, and they agreed on a list of 88 constellations that would cover the entire night sky. That was in 1922. And it wasn't until 1928 that the borders of those constellations were ratified. The borders were proposed or drafted by a man named Eugene Delport. He was from Brussels, and so I'm probably not pronouncing that well. But Eugene Delport drafted the boundaries of these 88 regions, and then they were approved by the IAU in their 1928 General Assembly meeting in Leiden.
So the difference between an asterism and a constellation is making me think that what I typically have used the word constellation for is actually asterism.
Yeah, but there is a lot of overlap. Like there is an Orion asterism, but there is also an Orion constellation, which is this big blocky region in which you can find very prominently the Orion asterism.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Ooh, I had no idea.
Yeah. That does lead to some miscommunication. It leads to some misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Several years ago, one of my former rugby teammates wanted to get a tattoo of the Argonauts constellation, Jason and the Argonauts. And she wanted my help because she couldn't find online a very consistent picture of this constellation. And so some would show different stars being included in the constellation. And so she asked for my help. And I then had to tell her that Jason and the Argonauts is not an official constellation of the IAU. It is a historical asterism that many people have in the past looked at, but you're not going to find a consistent grouping of stars because it doesn't officially exist. So it's one where you either have to take artistic license or like choose which stars you're going to include.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize there was so much like formality and also, I don't know, decision making in which ones we recognize.
Yeah. The constellations that we have today were chosen by a bunch of probably almost certainly mostly white
men. Yep.
A century
They've
ago.
done it again.
Yeah, they did it again. But they, these constellations, and we've talked about this before, I think we're going to talk about this a little bit more in the next episode, but these constellations defined by white men in the IAU have been around for thousands of years. Different cultures saw and grouped them differently, and we now use the constellations as a convenient tool to talk about different parts of the sky. So just because there are official designations doesn't mean that you have to use them for anything other than the official astronomy business of talking about a location in the sky.
Yeah. Sure.
So should we talk about the constellations?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I didn't want this episode to just be a list of all the constellations, but I do want to name at least all of the constellations. So we're going to have a moment of listing, and Corinne and I will just chat. We'll react to the names of these.
Yay.
So today we're talking about the Southern Hemisphere. There are 52 different constellations officially assigned to the Southern Hemisphere because they're not split evenly. That's, I think, maybe one of the first lessons I want to give you. These regions, these different boxes that make up the constellations, they are not the same size, they are not the same shape, they are kind of like the states in the US. They're just made up bordered regions.
I'm familiar with that.
Cool. Yeah, you are.
The gerrymandering of the night sky.
Oh my god. That sentence just made me think of like a far future, or even like a Star Trek or Star Wars universe where there are aliens spread throughout space. And like, imagine if we were drawing those districts, those voting districts.
We would be so bad at that.
We'd be so bad at it. Like, yeah, we would absolutely gerrymander the night sky.
Or maybe, like, it depends what side you're on. Because to some, gerrymandering is working perfectly.
Also, space is three-dimensional while the surface of the planet is not. And so it, like, how we would draw our districts would look different from a different planet.
So weird. Exactly, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so there are 52 southern constellations, and it's convenient to group them up into when you might see them easily in the night sky. And so they've been split up into quadrants, and the first quadrant is best viewed from October to January. So in the southern hemisphere, from October to January, you will see Calum, the engraving tool.
Okay. A pen,
yes. So
it's like, is it a straight line?
I love that this is the first one that we're talking about. These constellations, the asterisms in these constellations, they do not look like what they're supposed to be.
No, I remember thinking that when I was working at the Space Center, there was a constellations class for like kindergartners, really little kids. It was so cute. But a lot of it was like playing some connect the dot activities and whatever. And I remember you really are using your imagination once you take the leap from like a connect the dot thing to the sky. It's like looking at clouds, essentially, and being like, I see a lizard or whatever.
I think it's worse than clouds.
It's way worse.
Yeah, or maybe it's more creative than clouds, because you can just make
That's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
So a bunch of these constellations are supposed to be animals. A bunch of them are tools. A bunch of them are from mythology, and so it's a whole mix. So Calum, the engraving tool. Cetus, the sea monster, specifically a whale-shaped sea monster.
Yeah. Yeah. For a long time, we thought whales are monsters.
I mean, they're big and strong and scary.
And they look like monsters.
But that does imply that there are other types of sea monsters in the night sky. Because it's sea monster, parentheses, whale. Columba, the dove.
Columba the dove. I think of doves as graceful, and I don't know if I think the name Columba is.
So that's because of Columbus. And he was not the first to have that name.
You're right. You're so right.
Yeah, he just spoiled its reputation.
Exactly, and now doves have to be called just doves.
Dorado, the swordfish.
Okay.
Love it.
That has personality. I like that one.
Eridanus, the river.
I'm picturing a man who is nice and in charge, and like maybe I have to answer a riddle or something to get across.
Oh, fascinating. Okay, so you're picturing a person standing by the river.
Yeah, guarding it.
Love that. Fornax, the furnace.
Love that one. Big fan.
Horologium, the clock.
Huh. I like it. That makes me think that there's some Latin or something behind that name that is interesting.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about this one later, so I'll say this one was designed or designated by a French person who, many of the tool constellations were designed by this French person, and this one was not like a clock. It was more of a pendulum keeping time, and then the name was Latinized later when it was put into the official list. Horologium. Hydrus, the water snake. Love that.
Okay, I can see that.
So remember, there's a hydrus. Later, there will be one that sounds similar, but it's not the same. There's Lepus, the hare, which is great.
That is cute.
Or it's Lepus. Lepus, the hare.
Lepus.
There's Mensa, the mountain table, which is very similar to like
mountain
Mesa. It's like the plateau, the table mountain. Phoenix.
The phoenix, I assume.
That's just a phoenix. Pictor, the easel, like the artist's easel.
Like picture. Got it.
Reticulum, the net.
Sounds like a disease.
Yeah, and then sculptor, which is just a sculptor.
Okay.
One who sculpts.
Yeah, it's giving sculptor. Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's Dr. Moiya, and welcome to this episode's mid-break. Corinne is grabbing some snacks from the concession stand, and I really think she wants to see if they actually have barbecued shrimp available, so I figured now is a good time to share some messages with you. That first message is, of course, a big old thank you to the people who support us on Patreon with their money every month. Especially thank you to our sun-like stars, Sharn Llewellyn, Finn, and Peyton. Y'all are the... You're the OGs. You're the G-type stars that make it possible for us to continue making this podcast, so thank you. You too can support us. You can hear your name on the pod. You can even make it to our patron star chart for about $1 per episode. You can find that star chart, the Patreon info, and more at our website, palebluepod.com, or you can go right to patreon.com/palebluepod. If you can't support us financially, that's totally fine. That is a great way to help us make the show, but that is not the best way to help us make the show grow. So if you want to help us out, share the show with your friends, share it with your family, make it so that we have more people listening to us. You can leave a rating, you can leave a review on your favorite podcatcher of choice. There are lots of ways to help us and show your support. But whatever you do, thank you so much. We love you, and so does the universe. Are you feeling a little anxious? Maybe a little achy in your body? Do you ever have trouble sleeping? If so, then CBD products might be able to help you. In case you didn't know, CBD is derived from the cannabis plant, and it has a lot of medicinal uses, but it is not the same part of the plant that gets you high. So you can experience the medicinal effects without any of the influence on your mental faculties or acuity. For high-quality, organic, and mostly vegan CBD products, I would recommend that you try Cornbread Hemp. They are a family-owned and crowd-funded business based in Kentucky here in the United States. They sell oils, gummies, and lotions, and all of their products are made with plants that they grow themselves. And they only use flower. They're not using leaves or stems, so you know it's strong. You can go to cornbreadhemp.com and use the code PALEBLUEPOD for 25% off your order. That link is in this episode's description. That's cornbreadhemp.com with the code PALEBLUEPOD for 25% off your order. Next up, I am going to recommend a podcast for you. It's coming from the Multitude Collective, but more importantly and more directly, it is coming to you from my heart. It's the other podcast I host, this one, unfortunately, without Corinne. It is called Exolore, and it's all about facts-based fictional world building, meaning how can you build and analyze worlds from movies, games, TV shows, books, or whatever, but through a lens of science and facts. In each episode, I invite a new guest to help me either build a fictional world from scratch or break down one of their favorite fictional worlds. So in the past, I have built worlds that don't orbit stars, worlds that have many moons, even worlds that are gas giants instead of a rocky planet like Earth. And I have analyzed fictional worlds from across the media spectrum. I've done books, I've done the Lord of the Rings franchise, I've done Wheel of Time, I've done both of the Avatars. There's a lot there. And I have released more than 75 episodes, so you have a lot to start with if you want to look through the back catalog. New episodes of Exolore come out every other Thursday, and they are available wherever you get your podcasts, so you can choose your favorite podcatcher and listen to some nerds build and talk about fictional worlds. Again, it's Exolore, EXOLORE, and you can find it every other Thursday wherever you get your podcasts. Oh my God, Corinne actually found some barbecued shrimp, so we are going to munch on that and get back to the episode. Do you want to read the ones for January to April?
Yes. Oh, January to April. Okay, some of the worst times of the year. Let's see what we got. Antlia, the air pump.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
This is from the French. This is another one of those tools that the French designator created, and it's shortened from the French phrase for air pump. In what context, I'm not totally sure.
I'm into it.
There's so much history, and there's so much background and context to all of these, which I love. Maybe for like flying machines.
Oh, interesting.
Wikipedia is not helpful. It represents an air pump. Thanks.
I'm getting inflatable air pumps like to blow up your soccer ball. Let's say that's what it is.
Yeah.
One of the first inventions history had was to inflate basketballs.
I mean, the ancient Mayans did have a game that was like basketball and soccer and something like whatever. Yeah. Okay, so
And they
Antlia.
needed an electric compressor, I'm sure. Canis Major, the big dog. I know that one. Or I've heard of that one.
Right.
Carina, keel of the Argonaut ship.
I love that.
Ooh.
Is keel the front or the back?
I think it's the back. The main structural member and backbone of a ship or boat. Oh, so it's like the entire kind of bottom piece if you look at
cool.
like a Google image.
Oh, nice. All right.
Okay. Then there's a chameleon.
Great.
Crater the cup.
Oh,
You need
the
one.
cup. Mm-hmm.
Hydra the sea serpent. Is this
Yes.
the one that sounds like Hydras?
Yes, not to be confused with Hydrus. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Puppis. Stern of the Argonaut ship.
Oh, yes. This is Puppis. This is, I think one of the roots is like that it's the poop deck. It is the poop deck of the ship.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Pyxis, compass of the Argonaut ship. Oh, wow. They really got all the parts of this ship.
Yes, they do.
Sextans, the sextant.
Which is a
Not particularly descriptive.
no. It's a navigational tool.
Okay. Vela,
Yeah.
sail of the Argonaut ship.
The whole ship.
Ooh, like a veil.
Yeah.
And then volans, the flying fish.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. I mean, but there are several fish constellations. They're all in the sky, so
Yeah.
they're all flying.
Yeah, that's a good point.
From April to July, you can see Apis, the bird of paradise. It's a beautiful, beautiful one.
There's a plant called the bird of paradise.
Yeah, I wonder if it's meant to be the plant or the bird.
I wonder what came first. I think it's a tropical plant, so it might be abundant
Oh.
in parts of the southern hemisphere.
That'd be
We'll
cool.
see.
That'd be cool. Ara, the altar, very, very religious. Centaurus. Bet you can't guess what that is. There's Circinus, or Circinus, the compasses. There are two of them.
Okay, double.
Corvus, the crow. Crux
Okay.
is the Southern Cross,
That makes sense.
which we've talked about before. Libra, that's a zodiac sign, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Libra is the
balance.
scales.
Yeah, yeah.
The balancing, because it's like justice. Lupus, the wolf. Love that. That's one of my favorite Latin roots.
Yeah.
Is loop for wolf. Because who doesn't have a favorite Latin prefix?
I
root
did
word?
take Latin in high school and I remember nothing. Yeah, they did it in my program and I was really not good at it. So I just hated that I was in the class at all. But I was the vice president of the club, of the Latin language club, because I founded the club. But I knew that I should not be the president because I wasn't good enough at Latin. So I was like, okay, I'll make myself vice president and put that on the college application.
I love how you were like, I hate this class. I'm going to spend more time with it as
Exactly.
as an elective extracurricular.
And I have no regrets. It was just an extra chance for friends, you know?
Musca, the fly. The
Okay.
fly. Norma, the carpenter's level. So that's another one of the
Love that one.
tools. Ophiuchus, the holder of the serpent. That's a controversial new zodiac sign. So some people will go
is
just
that
with the old 12. But because our Earth's axis has precessed, the path of the sun across the sky has shifted a little bit, and it's now starting, or it has started to pass through this 13th zodiac sign, Ophiuchus. So, you can decide for yourself which of the zodiac systems you want to use. There's Scorpius, also pretty obvious, that's a scorpion. There's Triangulum Australe, which is the
Ooh.
southern triangle, and Virgo. I had a choice with this translation. I chose to go with Virgo the Maiden for its
Okay.
epithet. Yeah. What about what's next?
My name, if you Google what Corinne means, it says maiden. So
Oh.
I identify with that one. I never liked that meaning, but right now I will. Okay, July to October, we have the famous Aquarius, the water bearer, Capricornus, but it's an O.
Oh, that's
The sea
Capricornus.
goat. Capricornus.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to say Copernicus, but obviously
Don't we
that's
all?
not what it is. Corona Australis, the southern crown. Grus. That sounds like a Marvel guy.
Gruss.
The crane.
I am Gruss. That's how it needs to be said.
It's just Groot. It's just Groot. Indus for India.
I'm assuming.
And then microscopium.
It's a microscope.
Microscopium.
It's a microscope.
It's a microscope?
It's a microscope, Corinne.
Wait, that feels so modern.
Well, they were designated in 1922.
Exactly, yeah. But I'm like, some of these are so, like, kind of artful and with an imagined story, and then...
Yes.
That's the microscope.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. It's because, like, some of them are coming from old times, and some of them were just, like, white dudes needing to name a region of the sky.
That was me during improv. Any improv was, like, looking around the room for an object, like, oh, my name is chair, and...
Yes, that's what they were doing.
So I do relate to that. Octans, the octant.
Another navigational tool.
Pavo, the peacock.
I want to meet Pavo, the peacock.
Yeah. Piscis austrinus.
Ooh.
Southern fish. Sagittarius, the archer. Another zodiac. Mm-hmm. Scutum or scutum, the shield.
Scutum
is a funnier way to say it.
I love
I hope
scutum.
that's right.
Yes.
And then, oh geez, see if you can guess what this is. Telescopium.
What is that? That's such a mystery.
I'm gonna guess that's also a microscope. Just kidding. It's a telescope. And then Toucana the toucan.
Hey, love that.
That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really fun one.
I like all the animal ones. So yeah, we have just named all of the 52 southern constellations with, I'm sure, varying degrees of success on the pronunciation, but that's all of them. And in preparation for this episode, Corinne and I have each selected 5 of these constellations to give awards to. And we did not tell each other ahead of time what the awards were going to be, so I'm excited.
I'm very excited for this.
We'll alternate. Corinne, do you want to go first?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes, I'll go first. I am thrilled to pronounce the Disney Award for House Object with a Personality. That goes to Fornax the Furnace because, wow, am I picturing Beauty and the Beast. This furnace has come to life. It is smiling at me. It is helping me get out of the castle that I'm in. I'm thrilled to present Fornax the Furnace with this award.
I hope Fornax is pleased. That's also, it's giving, like, Howl's Moving Castle, the fire from Howl's Moving Castle. That's what I picture. I would like to give my award for the biggest, the chonkiest, for the most engrossing constellation in the night sky. It goes to Hydra, which is indeed the biggest region of the night sky that the IAU has assigned. The Crux, the Southern Cross, is the smallest, and so the Southern Hemisphere can boast that it has both the biggest and the smallest constellations in the sky.
Yeah, Hydra feels very powerful. Like, just there's a magnitude to it, or an epic feeling. Mm-hmm.
It helps that Hydra is one of the animals from Greek mythology that I think a lot of people have heard of. So it feels monstrous. It feels legendary. Yeah, Hydra's a big one.
We talked about this one before, so I'm thrilled to bring her back. Please welcome Corinne, keel of the Argonaut ship, to the stage for winning the Corinne Award for the constellation that sounds most like my name. And it does.
It does.
And that's why it won.
My honor, my privilege here is to introduce the award for the constellation that is the most out of place, Microscopium.
Wow. That was probably a dead heat with Telescopium, I assume.
No, because Telescopium, while it sounds similar, is at least thematically appropriate. We are looking at these stars with telescopes. When I read... So I have never looked at the full list of constellation names before. And when I saw Microscopium, my genuine... like verbatim reaction was, be so fucking for real right now. Have you actually named a constellation Microscopium? And it's not even the smallest of the constellations? Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, that is a good point. It's not... Yeah, you would expect it to be the smallest one. Like, that would be kind of a funny, cheeky name for it.
But no, they're not that clever. And so I don't even want to call this an award. Like, what is an anti-award? This is a shame certificate. Be so fucking for real, Microscopium.
And there's one shame certificate per ceremony.
Yes.
Okay, I am thrilled to give Aquarius the Water Bearer the award for sign to some of the most fun people. Some of my favorite friends are Aquariuses, and I love that. Yay!
Yay! I don't know my friends' signs. I almost gave Aquarius the queerest constellation award.
Ooh, yes.
Because the backstory, the myth behind Aquarius is that it is supposed to represent Ganymede, who was Zeus's cup bearer, so the water bearer. And Ganymede was this beautiful young, hopefully man, I don't want to say boy, a beautiful young man who Zeus fell in love with and just sent his eagle to fetch. And so there's another constellation called Aquila, the eagle, and that is meant to be the eagle that Zeus sent to fetch Ganymede away. But yeah, we said before.
I would hate that.
Right? Just the
getting picked up by a bird.
Yeah.
Taken away? No.
Because it's not caring about your comfort. Like, you are not cozy on that flight. It's talons in your shoulder.
I'm not riding the bird.
Yeah.
The
bird is riding you.
The bird's riding me.
The next in line is the award for the weirdest shaped constellation, and this one goes to Eridanus, the river. There is this image that I've been staring at a lot over the last couple of days of all of the constellation regions mapped out on the night sky, but it's contorted because it's in a rectangle instead of in a three-dimensional sphere. But when you can see all of the constellations together, just like looking at a map of the United States and all of the weird state shapes, Eridanus looks weird. And it does make sense that it is the river. It's this very, it gets big up top, and then it has this long string that goes southward. So it does kind of look like a river. It is the constellation that has the biggest north-south expanse of all of them.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it right now, and it does look so weird. It looks like they were like, we have to name all the constellations right now. And then they were like, what should we do about all these stars? And they were like, just connect them, and we're going to call it like the river or the snake or like whatever.
Oh yeah, like the asterism is also weird. It just looks like a kind of line that they have created. Yeah.
It looks easy. They were like, just do it.
Just do it. It's easy.
Well, this brings us to the Mother Award, which goes to Libra, the scale, for being my mother's zodiac sign.
Love that. What's it like, Libra, being reared by a Libra?
That's such a good question. I have never been reared by a different one. So I don't know if I know the difference.
Okay. Fair.
We were always talking about scales and balance and Libras.
Because my mom was a Pisces, and I
water sign.
A water sign. I don't know much about astrology, and I don't buy into it, but she did. And from what she's told me, she was very much a Pisces, extremely indecisive, not great with planning or confrontation, and it showed.
And it showed.
Love her to death, but it showed.
Yeah, I really don't know what any of the signs do. I know almost nothing besides the names of them. And I use them when it's convenient to the conversation. My final award, which is the Normal Award, goes to Norma, the Carpenter's level, for being the most normal name.
It is.
Congratulations, Norma.
That's a name, like that is a name that people have. It's the most normal name. But do you know why Norma is a carpenter's tool?
I have no idea what a Norma is.
So it's the leveling tool. So it's meant to say if things are in a straight line, if they're flat, and that is because for scientists, a perpendicular line, one that makes a right angle, is also called a normal line.
Normal award for tool.
For the tool. And my final award for this evening is the horniest constellation, and that award goes to Capricornus. Capricornus is indeed the horniest southern constellation. It has 2 horns. It has the most horns of any of the southern constellations.
What was the competition? I feel like none.
There's no competition. The northern sky has a unicorn and a ram, but I don't think there are any other horns in the southern sky.
There's a lot of fish, though.
So many fish.
A lot of gills.
So, yeah, Capricornus is the horniest constellation. It is my sign. I am a Capricorn,
Oh,
and I am very much a Capricorn. Again, I don't really subscribe to this, but I
You could say that to whatever sign we are.
Right.
Sometimes I'll just read the other horoscopes and I'm like, I think I identify with that one today.
no, I've read them, and I am a Capricorn. It's weird.
What is a Capricorn?
A Capricorn is very like type A, has a plan, follows the plan, good with planning, and traditionally money, but I think just like career and things like that. Like they will be successful in it.
A Capricorn is a PhD holder, astrophysicist, has written a book.
Yeah, that's me. But in mythology, the Capricorn is a sea goat. It is fish from like the waist down and then goat from the waist up. So it has the horns. And the story behind it is that it's sometimes the god Pan, but sometimes a different figure like Pan's father. But the god Pan was this nature deity, and one day it was running away from a titan or from a sea monster, and I don't know why it would jump into the sea if it was running away from a sea monster, but it jumps into the sea and tries to turn into a fish, but is only half successful, and so Pan it becomes the Capricorn.
Aw, I'm sorry. I hate to see that it was unsuccessful.
I'm half successful, and,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
true.
the important part, because it got the part of the fish that lets it project itself through the water. It got the fin, so
Oh.
it's good.
Okay, lucky.
Yeah, I think much better that way than
Then
fish.
the front half
Yeah, fish
and
front.
human legs.
Or goat legs.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like you don't want that.
You don't want the goat back.
Thus concludes our award show for this evening, but we do have another one coming up next week, so be sure to come back and hear all about the constellations in the northern sky. But right now I think our show is about to start, and I do not want to miss a single screamed word.
Yeah, I need to see every word of the opera. That's what I meant.
All right, so until next time, folks, remember that you are space.
Bye.
Pale Blue Pod was created by Moiya McTier and Corinne Caputo with help from the Multitude Productions team. Our theme music is by Evan Johnston, and our cover art is by Shay McMullen. Our audio editing is handled by the incomparable Misha Stanton.
Stay in touch with us and the universe by following @PaleBluePod on Twitter and Instagram, or check out our website, palebluepod.com. We're a member of Multitude, an independent podcast collective and production studio. If you like Pale Blue Pod, you will love the other shows that live on our website at multitude.productions.
If you want to support Pale Blue Pod financially, join our community over at patreon.com/palebluepod. For just about $1 per episode, you get a shout out on one of our shows and access to director's commentary for each episode. The very best way, though, to help Pale Blue Pod grow is to share it with your friends. So send this link to one person who you think will like it, and we will appreciate you for forever.
Thanks for listening to Pale Blue Pod. You'll hear us again next week.
Bye.